So, there we were just wondering, maybe it's that time of the year. The time when we clean off all the crap off our desks, and we begin to mull over what we think are the best MMORPGs out there or just around the corner. The end of the year is coming, and there are plenty of news every week, so don't be surprised if in a few days we're already regretting having this or that game in this particular spot. But that's just how these top 10s work. Anyways, here are some of the best MMORPGs for you to play right now, except for one or two likely exceptions. Some are new games, others are games that launched a while ago but have stood the test of time, or aged so well, at least they earn the right to become references. So here's our top 10 free-to-play MMORPG games of 2015 and 2016.
FreeMMOStation.com. Number 10.
So we'll begin with a fresh little MMORPG from the makers of Aura Kingdom. DRAGOMON Hunter, aka Dragon Slayer, is this kind of anime monster hunter game that is more unusual to find than we could usually think. It does the Dragon's Prophet way in that you have to find, battle, and mount the creatures available, more than 100 at the time of the open beta. And it looks really good in its chibi anime style, and while the combat isn't of the true action kind, then again, which MMO really is, it feels fast, fluid, and compelling. The user interface can be a bit too cluttered, so be prepared to mess with it, and the gameplay may feel a bit overly familiar, but it still ranks as a nice little distraction, and that anime fans will probably enjoy. Having the original Japanese voiceover cast is a great option, as these fine folk lent their voices to names such as Naruto, Bleach, Sword Art Online, and more high-profile shows.
Number 9.
We're going to go on a limb here, and we know that Albion Online is in alpha at the time of this top, but what we've already played was enough to make it onto this list. This is probably the best alternative to RuneScape for players who don't like RuneScape, as it looks great, and it's shaping up to have this huge depth and a living, breeding, player-driven economy. It also has quite a bit of ARCHEAGE in it, hopefully with a lot less problems and controversy when it actually releases. Yeah, and since we're going with inspiration sources, we couldn't leave Diablo out, as it looks a lot like Blizzard's epic saga, and combat can be quite exciting too. Albion Online is first and foremost a PvP-focused experience, so make sure that you enter the game knowing where it will eventually lead. You can even PvP with your in-game wallet, as you're able to compete for spots of land with other players and make them curse you when they lose this magnificent place to build a home.
Number 8.
So, ARCHEAGE. Yeah, we all know just how messy the Western launch was and how unforgivable this experience can be, especially with the continued controversy involving the server merges. However, this is a beast of a game that is probably a nightmare for any studio to maintain, and you can spend quite a lot of time creating your virtual adventures in this world. There's a lot to do, and most of it requires some kind of grind, so be warned that this is the kind of game where paying players get some clear advantage over free players. However, this is mostly a problem if you are the impatient type and play your games only with a competitive focus in mind. Keep this in mind, as well as the fact that ARCHEAGE isn't a game for casual players, and you should have some good old crafting and building fun with it.
Number 7.
It's impressive just how much Marvel Heroes has evolved since it launched a while ago to a lukewarm reception. Now it's a completely different beast, and one of the best superhero games that is finally exploring its Diablo inheritance in the right way. With a very respectable roster to choose from, plenty to do and loot, as well as regular updates that significantly add to the available content. Marvel Heroes is a very good game in its 2015 iteration, and hopefully it'll become even better during 2016. It's fun, easy to pick up, and with plenty of cool moves from our favorite Marvel characters. It has steadily grown into one of the best free-to-play action RPGs available.
Number 6.
Now it is time to talk about the best free-to-play alternative to Diablo, Path of Exile. Although there's some competition coming in the shape of Devilion, it's not until Lost Ark is going to release that we'll probably see how Path of Exile is able to handle it. Now, it's coming from a humble studio composed of Diablo fans. Path of Exile is an action online RPG, more than a proper MMO, but it surely is a multiplayer game to remember. It's dark, gloomy, quite depressing at times, yeah, but that's one of its biggest strengths. The accomplished environment, the gritty world, and the loot. and more loot plays really nicely and is widely considered as one of the best examples of a fair and successful use of the free-to-play business model. As in, it doesn't rip you off, and you won't have to open your wallet to keep up with other players if you're skilled enough. But do buy some cosmetics now and then, as that is the way to keep this great game running for a long, long time.
Number 5.
Skyforge is one of the most ambitious MMO games of recent years, and as always seems to be the case, it's getting love from some players and hate from some others. Yeah, we understand how it can be a big pain in the butt to have a weekly limit for those who like to speedrun through their MMOs, but on the other hand, this is helpful for those who are only able to play a few hours every week. The class system is also very unusual, and we really appreciate the ability to switch between the classes on the fly, as we can choose the one which is best suited for each specific situation. Sure though, not everyone likes having to play for quite a while to unlock these classes, but see that as a goal and as something you can show off around in game. For now, there's no option to buy advanced classes, and actually we hope that the devs don't go down that route. Skyforge also has this sci-fi fantasy theme that is fairly original, and some of the dungeons and bosses are honestly quite a sight. This one can be a looker.
Number 4.
Tera is a big boy now. This game has grown so much during the last year or so and is now a massive beast with a lot of content to go through. Plenty of classes to choose from, with more coming really soon, most specifically the Brawler, and overall still one of the best action combat experiences available in MMO games. There's plenty of fan service if you like that sort of thing, and by this we mean fan service for both men and women. Lolly lovers and cuddly panda fans, of course, so everyone should be catered for. Tera can be quite a grind, of course, but nowadays saying that an MMORPG is grindy is like saying that Katy Perry is hot. Yeah, it's obvious, guys. No need to detail it any further. Overall, Tera has plenty of content. It looks gorgeous, and combat is extremely fun, and you can even brag to your friends if you ever become the lucky owner of a sky castle. That's not an easy feat, we have to warn you.
Number 3.
Another fugitive from the subscription business model, Wildstar is a great game, and one that was acclaimed at launch for being a great evolution of the World of Warcraft template. However, good looks and fine-tuned mechanics will only take you so far as months pass and players are ready to move on to the next big thing. Turning Wildstar into a free-to-play game was the logical move, and it didn't stop there. Carbine Studios revamped quite a few things, from the character creation to the ARC ship, as well as other tiny details that you probably won't notice, but that will make your experience just that little bit better. If you like crazy characters in a somewhat sci-fi Pixar look, and some classic gameplay to go along, then Wildstar is just the game for you.
Number 2.
Even if it's a couple years late, yeah, Blade & Soul is still completely ahead of most of the competition. Go ahead, we'll make a small break for the hype has died, or it looks so bad now hate comments. So this is your time. With that out of the way, we'll go ahead and say that Blade & Soul looks just as good as it did a few years ago. It's not just the unique art style that makes it so. Well, unique, or the way that the combat makes martial arts look so fun and crazy in the best anime style. Or the character creation, where we can spend hours adjusting every little detail until your fingertips bleed. It's a combination of these things and more. The storyline is just so cool and filled with cutscenes to make it look like you're actually inside the story. Something that in most other MMOs is just a succession of go here, go there, do this, come back. If there's a game with both style and substance, Blade & Soul is the one. And our number 1 is Black Desert Online. Woo! Oh wait, no, this one actually turned out to be buy to play. So, yeah, scratch that. Yeah, the real number 1 is.
And number 1.
This one caught us completely off guard. We weren't expecting this move from ArenaNet, especially considering that Guild Wars 2 isn't exactly a game with a low population, and that the first Guild Wars is still pretty much a buy-to-play as in the first day that it launched. Yeah. On the other hand, we appreciate the generosity, as good free-to-play MMORPGs aren't exactly a dime a dozen. So we get one of the best games in the genre for free, except for just a few restrictions such as character slots and other things that won't properly impact the gameplay. The trick is that to repay the kindness, we have to, and should, buy the expansion to keep up with the game and fully enjoy it. It's more than a fair price for such a game, and the first expansion, Heart of Thorns, launched in October 2015. With plenty of classes with very diversified lore, great PvP, and an action feel to combat thanks to the continued work with the camera, Guild Wars 2 is a big, bold MMORPG that deserves everyone's attention. So there it is, our choice for some of the best free-to-play MMORPGs available right now, with a couple exceptions that you may have already played or not. Of course, as with every other top, we would like to leave a few suggestions that could also make the list but just, didn't. Trove, Rift, Star Wars The Old Republic, or the upcoming Landmark and H1Z1. 2 games that are in early access but will be free on release. We're also betting that Tree of Savior is going to be a badass old-school MMORPG, but we want to see it grow just a little bit more before praising it, as we hope to do. And don't get us started on Lost Ark. No, really, don't get us started. The game is probably only launching in 2017 if we're lucky. As always, leave us your opinion on which other games should have made it to this top 10, but most of all, enjoy playing them. And make sure to support the games that you do like.